Hi, everybody. Dee Dee Russell here with weddingvenueowners.com and the Wedding Venue Owners and Managers community. Today, I have an incredible wedding venue to talk to. I met this wedding venue and their management team in New Orleans, one of the best places to meet someone new. If you ever want to go to a place where you're going to meet your instant new best friends, it's probably New Orleans because cocktails and all of that. But you have to go to a New Orleans wedding venue owners working vacation to know what we're talking about. But that is where I met this incredible team and learned a little bit more about Charleston Lane Wedding Venue and Caviar and Banana Catering. So ladies, would you please introduce yourselves?
So I'm Rachel. I'm the venue coordinator and sales specialist. And then we have.
I'm Lindsey Williams. I just hopped on the team and I am the event venue and sales coordinator for Charleston Lane and Caviar and Banana.
Welcome, ladies. I am so excited to have you. Charleston Lane is relatively new, but Caviar and Bananas has been around for a while. And as a former catering sales director, somehow survived that. I still wake up with a little PTSD once in a while, thinking I forgot sheet pans or somebody doesn't have sternos. I don't know, whatever the terrors that you have that give you night sweats. Catering is hard is what I'm trying to say, people. If you don't realize how hard catering is, you have to work out just to be able to function in a catering role at a wedding. It's hard. It's hardcore work. So Caviar and Bananas has been around for a while, and Charleston Lane is relatively new in the wedding landscape. But please, Rachel, tell us a little bit about Charleston Lane, when it started, a little bit about what's special about Charleston Lane and how it even kind of came to be.
So Charleston Lane, we acquired the property in November. So it is brand new.
Brand new. So has that brand new venue smell, right?
Yes. So we're an older building. So we just, minus building the bars, all of our renovations are finally done. So we're building a few built-in bars because the building originally was a rec center.
Okay. And where is it located?
It's located in Lake Conroe in Houston, Texas.
So just outside of Houston. And tell us a little bit about the building itself, because what I see online, and those of you watching this video will probably see this on YouTube or as I share it throughout our networks of wedding industry groups and social media, but I will also create a blog on weddingvenueowners.com sharing some of the stunning images of Charleston. You have got to see this venue. I mean, online, it's amazing, but next time we go to Houston, we've got to come by for a visit because it's absolutely stunning. So tell us a little bit about the features and the space and some of the things that make your couples just fall absolutely head over heels in love with the venue.
So we are located directly on the lake. So we actually do have private docks. So they could do a boat exit if they wanted to. And then we're on the lake, so there's no noise restrictions. So you can have a lot of fun here. But we purposely built this venue. So yes, you can have a formal wedding or a formal event, but you're here to party. So we purposely made it so that everything is black and white. So you can go very minimal in your design, or you can go big and grand.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So when did you all start allowing engaged couples to come in and tour the property?
So we acquired the property in November, and I think our first couple booked a few days after.
Oh my gosh, wow. May everyone out there in wedding venue land be so blessed and fortunate as to have something like that happen to you. But you were touring couples almost immediately, booking them, which is awesome. But did you have any renovations or any changes that you all had?
Yes.
So you're allowing them to come into the space, but you're informing them that, listen, we have these changes happening. What's the process of that look like? Do you use renderings? Do you use, what were your tools and methods to make sure that couples really understand, I know you see it this way, but it's going to be a little different, and here's our plan?
So one benefit is all of our staff is very familiar with the wedding industry. So we're able to describe it, and we're able to say, yes, it may look like this now, but once we paint the walls white and you put an uplight up, it will stay pink, it will stay green, whatever color you would like. And then you add that soft romantic candles in there, and we just paint the picture.
So you all were just very descriptive with the style and everything. That did you have renderings or other types of things? No. Wow. Oh my God. You guys are okay. Don't try that at home. I feel like you have to have Rachel involved in that. If you're gonna, that's a challenge because I've looked at these people's social media out there. No offense to all of you. I know social media is challenging, but we have a lot of people that just throw a picture up there and don't even put a description. We have people that haven't posted in 6 months. So conveying the imagery and the passion about it is no small feat. So congratulations to you all for exciting your couples when they came through and really, setting a story and an image for them of what this venue will look like when it's completed. I mean, that's really unprecedented.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. It's a lot of just when we have couples come in, kind of feeling them out and wanting to paint that picture to turn not only their idea and dream into reality and helping them along the way turn that dream into even more than they can even imagine. And we're fortunate enough to be able to go through that process with them. And as renovations come along and new things are implemented within our venue and posting it on social media and staying up to date with our couples, it's a really incredible process to see that go from when we first opened in November to where we're at now and where we're even continuing to go.
Absolutely. And how are you managing the social media? Because you all have a really great social media presence. I forgot to look online before we chatted today, but you have a great following, you have a lot of engagement. How are you managing that aspect? That is really, let's be honest, that can crumble some wedding venue owners right at the knees. They have a lot of challenge with managing their social media, but for you all, you realize the asset that it is, and you're really using it brilliantly. So who's kind of helping with that?
So it's mostly our owner, and then Lindsey and I are both help out. So I'm not so great about the posting to the grid, but stories, that's where I'm at.
You're at the story. So you might be one that accidentally posts an unpleasant grid or distracts the eyeballs with the grid. Things most people don't think about, by the way.
It's not so much that as I forget to post to the grid.
Ah, okay.
Those two handle that part.
It's definitely a team effort.
And for all our solo venue owners out there, I'm giving you a hard time, but I know that social media is challenging. Even when you have a team, sometimes it can be
it's extremely challenging. And as it's become such a large part of business these days, it definitely sometimes takes a team and bouncing ideas off one another. And that helps us reach towards success. But like you said, I mean, some people are so talented and able to do it completely on their own. And it definitely is, it's an acquired talent, I will say.
So tell me, when you're touring the couples and you're kind of showing them, what's available and what's coming up, when was the first available wedding date that you were comfortable kind of committing to?
So this was a previous wedding venue when we took it over. So we did have a few contracts from that. So our first wedding was actually who did like catering and bar and everything was May 21st.
Okay, so about six or so months to kind of prep for having that. Have you all switched to a all-inclusive model, or are you allowing venue only? What does that look like?
So they have to do bar through us.
Okay.
Especially because Texas has TBAC, so
very strict. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is all through us, so all beverages. And then if they do want to do catering outside, it would be a catering buyout fee.
Okay. So they could do outside catering if they had a specific something in mind or something they have their heart set on. You all are so flexible. That's really lovely because a lot of places are not, but that would be there. So when you have your couples come in, how do you handle tours? Do you do individual tours, or do you kind of set up a group tour, like, certain tour days? How do you handle that?
So we do book by appointment too, because we really love to personalize our tours directly towards our potential clients, to be able to learn a little bit more about them and start relationship building and hear about exactly what their vision is for their day, so we can show them around and say, oh, well, you want this, we can make this happen here. And to take them around and just show them, build that relationship process, like I said, But then we've also started to have a few open houses, and we have a few more on our schedule to allow just people to come in and see the venue with lots of people in it, to get that feel of the hustle and bustle on an event day, where our coordinators and the rest of our staff are here to help show people around, have conversations, but also kind of let them freely move around.
I love a group tasting. I love a group tasting. I love the idea of the couples kind of being able to come in, the excitement from the other couples. I mean, with some things, meeting one-on-one is great, but with the tasting, when you're kind of getting excited about the space and the joy and the chatter and the laughter and the kind of that group tasting, not only does it solve a scheduling issue where it can be challenging to schedule so many tastings, but also it does kind of create that environment of excitement and get the couples excited, I think, not only about the food. So how many are allowed to come to a tasting, and is there an additional fee for that, or is that kind of, if they have one tasting, but then if they require more, or how do you handle that?
So for tastings, they're allowed to bring up to 4. If they wanted to bring an additional, we do try to discourage that, just because if you have too many opinions, it gets a little confusing. But if they wanted to bring anyone additional, then it would be a cost. So if we are doing a private tasting, for example, if they have more of a specific menu or more of a cultural menu, then it would be a private tasting. But for all of our future open houses, so our next one is in August, it's going to be an open house and a grand tasting.
Oh, I love it. Love it. How many people are you typically seeing coming in? And is this just for booked couples or also for prospective couples to come in and see the property?
So it's going to be for both.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It's so much fun. Those are so much fun. Way better than kind of a bridal show experience. And no offense again to anybody, I just, for excitement purposes and seeing the couples and what the couples really want, they do love this model. It's personal and intimate, but still big enough to not be boring, and still really serves a purpose for them to kind of research what they want for their wedding. So once a couple finds you and then they come in and they tour and they learn all about everything that you can provide, what are some of the things that couples love most about your team and also Charleston Lane Wedding Venue?
So something that I've found that our couples love about our team is everyone that I've been around for my short time that I've even been on the team is just so personable. And you can just truthfully tell that they're all so passionate about their job, or they wouldn't be putting in all the hard work that they all do. And it is a lot. So it really goes to show how passionate they are about it. And I think our couples are able to see that, as everyone's extremely transparent and willing to put in that extra hard work to make everyone's day become even better than they can imagine. And showing them around the venue, it's really cool because our owner has put in so many of his own personal touches around the venue. Like, for example, the reason that our bridal suite has kind of a soft sage green on the walls is because it was the color of our owner's grandmother's dining room.
Oh.
So it just has little personal touches like that around. And it goes to show that, it is real people that are putting on this kind of business and want to, turn those personal touches into a part of our couples' lives to remember, and things like that just, I think, go a really long way.
I agree 100%. And I can definitely tell you, even from meeting you and your entire team, Rachel, in New Orleans, you just there's just an excitement and a passion there. You can't buy that. You can't train that. You either have an incredible desire to create amazing events in beautiful spaces with food that excites, and execute these things really well, or you don't. You can go through the motions, but I think that's what really sets a venue like Charleston Lane Wedding Venue apart from, say, some of your more corporate owned or your more structured. You can put a structure in place, it will be adequate, it will be fine, but those personal elements, you feel them in the walls, you feel them in the images, you feel them in the excitement when you're sharing on social media. It's a really hard combination to find a team that's really educated and brilliant about events like you all are, but then also that is really passionate to share that with couples. I think that is really apparent.
Thank you.
So tell me some of the venue features. We talked about the lake. Obviously, that's one of your top 10. I mean, you know, you can't just drop one of those in from a rental company. And if there's a rental company out there that brings lakes, you let me know, because I haven't found you yet, but I would love to hear about that. But tell me some of the features that your couples love the most. Where are the spots that they're taking photos most often? What are the features that are making your couples fall in love?
So one would be the bridal suite that Lindsay mentioned. So since Caviar and Banana has been around since '96, we've been in a lot of bridal suites and groom suites. So we purposely, when we built out those rooms, because they didn't exist before, we made it so you can fit 25 people in the bridal suite and 25 people in the groom suite. So the bridal suite is very soft, romantic, and it has plenty of space for them. And then the groom suite is a little man cave. There's even a sign in there that says man cave, of course. And we put all the fun stuff in there. So in the groom suite, there's foosball,
basketball,
yeah,
a Mortal Kombat machine for them to
Ooh,
play.
fun.
and there's even a bar.
Oh, yes. 'Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
so I would imagine
people
sometimes
pay.
the ladies might come over and kick them out.
Yeah.
We're taking advantage of that basketball because, you know, nerves. There's, you know, some of those games are really good for calming the nerves, I feel like.
Calming them, keeping them entertained, and so they don't wander too much.
Yes,
Boys
yes.
are just a whole other ball game in this industry sometimes.
Groomsmen like to wander. So we want to give them plenty of room.
So you have those gorgeous spaces, and then what about, and this is one very important thing that everyone wants to know, how is the lighting in the rooms? I mean, lighting is such a big deal and you don't think about it till you show up, but you know, some of these spaces, but what I've seen online looks amazing as far as the lighting and how you've done the beautiful decor and design elements to really enhance that. So, you know, a bride, an engaged couple, whoever is there in their, you know, style, they're going to look amazing in your spaces, but share a little bit about that.
So the bridal suite, when we actually built the room, we brought in hair and makeup artists to tell us what type of lighting works best for them, because that room is
smart.
Fully interior. So there is no windows in there. So we brought in them so that way, you know, they're not like in the dark with a flashlight trying to do your hair and makeup.
The blue eyeshadow looked really good in the room, but then they came out and it looked you don't want that.
You don't want that. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's bright in there, but it's more softer and romantic. And
I think that's so brilliant. Our makeup artists, they have a challenging job to do, and they have to do it very quickly. And so a lot of them are not going to bring in their own outside lighting. So to have a really great lit spaces that are makeup artist approved, that's so smart. That's such a smart tip.
And then the groom suite is it has a whole wall of windows that overlooks the lake. So it's perfect because there's so much lighting in there.
So how about the banquet space? Can you tell us a little bit about the reception space and some unique aspects of that?
So I love our reception space. It's so open and has the whole back wall is large windows. So plenty of natural light. And then it gets really pretty when, you know, we're right on the water. So the sunset and the reflection off the water creates that beautiful golden glow during that time of the evening. And we have two kind of spaces in our venue. We have our main reception room, and then right off to the side, but it's still attached, we have our Charleston room, is what we've named it. And it has just a beautiful panoramic view of the lake, all windows on that side of the wall. So again, with the natural light pouring in, is just beautiful. We've installed some modern light fixtures in there too, because obviously you have to have your electrical light, because you know they like it always service right through an entire event. So to have that beautiful classic feel just on the water, but then have your modern touches, which you can also see throughout our venue. To answer your question a little bit about the lighting, I guess.
I know other people are probably watching this like lighting. I'm a lighting nerd, and I will lay on my back and take pictures of it at every venue we go to. Some of them that we visited in New Orleans, there were literally venue owners laying down taking pictures of the light. We'll see them under table. We see our venue owners crawling under tables taking. It's very fun to see the things that they get excited about. But our couples love those things too, even if they don't really realize how important they are until they get to a venue. Even touring a venue, it's not always exactly fully set up. So being thankful for those elements when you're there. I mean, they may not ever mention or notice it, but we do, and we appreciate the design elements that you guys have. So tell us a little bit about your how you structure wedding planning and coordinating at your venue.
So myself and Lindsay are here on wedding day all day, or event day. So we do switch it out so that way both of us aren't here for 14 hours. So one of us will come in the morning until the end of ceremony, and then the other one will come in, of course, depending on when ceremony is, like 30 minutes before, and then stay throughout the night. And then we have our other staff that's here. So there's always at least 2 people here from the venue, because everyone who works for Charleston Lane also works for Caviar and Banana, and vice versa. So everyone is very familiar. And then we do require that they have a very least a day of coordinator.
Okay, so that helps because, and if you can, in a nutshell, what the question that has come up ever since the beginning of time, or beginning of weddings going from backyards to being actually legitimate industry, with the structure and coordination, is what is the difference between the wedding venue coordinator and management roles and the planner? And so I think, planners are absolutely essential. Really good ones. So how do you kind of explain that when couples ask, what is the role that you all have as a venue, looking out for the venue and managing the venue elements versus a planner? A lot of people think they're the same thing.
So they definitely can go hand in hand, and it's definitely it's a team effort for sure. But where the venue coordinator knows the ins and outs of the venue, always on site, can know exactly what spaces look like and what lighting, what tables go best, where, all of that stuff on the logistics side, but work hand in hand with the planner to help know that couples, like I've been saying this entire time, turn their dream into reality. And so while working with them on the creative side, mixing with our end of logistics kind of helps everything stay in order, stick to the timeline, because the bride and groom and loved ones on that day or whatever event is shouldn't have to worry about anything besides enjoying themselves. So with the work of the venue coordinator handling all the venue logistics, and your planner handling all of the decor and all of that stuff, when we're working together, it really just works towards success.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful kind of relationship with somebody really
Absolutely.
managing all of the venue elements and details and logistics, and then a wedding planner, coordinator, day of, or short term, whatever that looks like for the couple, is really that couple's liaison. So when you're a couple, you don't want your mom or your aunt or somebody, they always want to volunteer, but you want them to have fun at the wedding. You want them to throw some drinks back and have a good time and all of those great things. Yeah.
So I always describe it, because I do come from a wedding planning background, I always describe it as your wedding planner is your point of contact for you and all of your vendors. Your venue coordinator is just your contact specifically just for the venue. So your wedding coordinator, planner, whatever package they get, they'll do your timelines, which is really, really important. Your floor plan.
And it changes so much. It changes, and they have to shoot that out to everybody and make sure that everybody got it.
It's very important indeed. Yes.
Yes. And then, they need to worry about when the cake person's coming in versus when DJ's coming in, because, they have to use the same access point, and so on and so on.
Absolutely. So how do you handle all of your vendor relationships? Do you have a recommended vendor list? Do you kind of allow a lot of flexibility? What is your philosophy at Charleston Lane with regard to vendors?
So there's 2 vendors that we require approval of. So we will approve of the florist and the planner. In a lot of cases, those are the 2 people that will make or break the event.
Interesting.
Planners, because like we just talked about, the floor plans, the timelines, if there's not a proper timeline together, then how are your vendors going to know what's happening?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then
miscommunication, that always leads to someone freaking out and errors. So somebody wrangling all those loose ends and looking for spots where something hasn't been pinned down, that's the person you want on your team. Absolutely, on your wedding day. But flowers is interesting. That piques my interest. So I'm interested in hearing more about that.
So flowers, I love florists, but a lot of them don't have necessarily the team or the logistics brain in their team to do everything. Because florists are very creative and I love them. But a lot of them don't have that other person to counteract them for the logistics of how many people they need to set up. How long is it going to take to set up? Are they going to come back for to flip ceremony to reception? Or what time are they coming to break down? Because we don't want to be here until 2 a.m. waiting on the florist. So the little things like that.
Absolutely. So I know we're going to run out of time soon, and there's a million questions that I have. I just wish I could transport in there and take a tour. I cannot wait till we come back to Houston, but I do want to ask you all, because I know that a lot of couples do find our YouTube and our Facebook, and then of course, wedding venue owners find all that. But for Houston area couples, Texas couples, and then of course, all of our worldwide ones that are dying to have a Houston wedding, what are some tips that you would love? Just a couple of words of advice that I think a lot of couples may be not aware of when they're planning their wedding. What are some of those pieces that you would offer to couples?
I would definitely say always be weary of the weather. Houston especially can be very wild card. Yes, but yes. So always being aware of that and thinking about your ideal date. And if you want to have an outdoor wedding in April, beautiful. However, just always be wary of rain and things like that. But you know, small details, and then I'm sure she has some tips
if you're
too.
going to have a wedding in the summer, be open to an indoor ceremony in Houston where it's 95% humidity, and
Yes,
even on a cloudy day like today, it's 98 outside.
Yes, we're currently looking at 92 degrees, and it's cooler today and cloudy.
Yep.
So
92, you guys had a cold front move in then, right?
yes, cold front, it's 92 degrees now.
That's why I wore a sweater today, because I heard that rumor and I was like, ooh, chilly, chilly. I would love, Rachel, a little bit of feedback. What were some of your thoughts on the Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacation? What were any of the takeaways or any of the kind of things that you might have, enjoyed about that experience?
So it was really fun. One, because it was my first time to New Orleans. And then two, because I love meeting everyone and then hearing about like their different venues and their perspective on it. And it was also interesting, especially hearing the difference between all the northern venues, like in the northern United States versus the South, because there's a lot of different traditions, and then they have to deal with snow. We have to deal with hurricanes. So
to each is their own.
Yeah. So it was very interesting just getting to, hear from everyone and learn all that. And then seeing all the different venues was really fun.
Well, Lindsey, hopefully you will get a chance next year, maybe to come back and we'll get to see all of you again. I can't wait to edit and share this with everybody. I really want to encourage everyone watching this to go over to the Charleston Lane wedding website. I'm going to put the links in here. We're going to share a lot of images on the blog on weddingvenueowners.com. If you haven't been to a Wedding Venue Owners Working Vacation, you should go, because guess what? You get to meet brilliant people like the Charleston Lane team. And we have some of the Charleston Lane team that attended the event that are not on this today. But I would also encourage any of you who are looking for consulting resources, brilliant leaders. I mean, it's very rare for us to find someone that's been managing weddings and events on the scale that caterers do for Caviar and Banana. I mean, that you have to have such incredible expertise to manage catering, but to manage wedding catering off-site with teams that you're training and all of that is a beast, and it is not for the faint of heart or for the lazy at all. As a matter of fact, it's gross. I could share catering stories. None of you want to hear that. You just want the beautiful presentation, and I totally get that. But we're going to share all of that information, and I do encourage any venue owners that have, maybe just purchased a property, or maybe they're starting their journey as a venue owner. You'll want to reach out to Charleston Lane and get some insight on, venue management consulting and support, because you're not going to find too many more brilliant teams than what you would find here, not only in managing, since since 96 and still being there to talk about all of the changes. Imagine doing that without point of sale systems and things like that that you would have in the 90s, like paperwork everywhere. And I remember having walls of just like the pink sheet means this and the yellow sheet means this and this. I mean, whew, it's a whole different beast, but I'm just so excited for all of the success that you all are going to generate. And I just want to remind everyone that our venue owners are starting to work together more and more in their markets. They're starting to create alliances where they are setting the standards of practice and changing the way the wedding industry works. And I really recommend connecting with each other on wedding venue owners working vacations, but outside of that. And I really hope that you all are finding your wedding venue community to be very supportive, and that you're able to have some time to reach out and connect, and that you're sharing. You know, maybe we will be back down there at the beginning of next year, and we'll get to stop in and see you guys.
Yes, we would love that. Absolutely. Always welcome. Always welcome.
I'm so excited to have you here today, and I can't wait to share your images and share Charleston Lane. And I just want to thank both of you so much, and the entire Charleston Lane team, because what you've accomplished here with finding this perfect property, developing it, enhancing its beauty that already existed, bringing it new modern life, and then booking weddings. Reach out to these ladies. Look how friendly they are. And if you're an engaged couple, you know, I hope that you'll reach out, and I would love hashtag Dee Dee Russell or hashtag wedding nerd. Tag me if you're having a tour there or what your experience is. We love sharing success stories, and we just wish you all the best. All right, bye guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.